Since there are so many swords in the game, like 20 swords, I thought it would be fun to figure out which one is the best. So really what I want to accomplish in this video is to rate every single sword that's been added this season, and then also to figure out which one is actually the best for your dollar. So today we're going to be rating them all sort of out of 10 or whatever, putting them on this tier list. So here is every single sword in the game. Unfortunately, I can't get mint or caramel because those things are like super expensive, but I was able to sort of have someone rename those, even though I can now that I have Slurp. But so we're going to go in chronological order of their release. So starting off is the daily sword. So the daily sword is kind of like that sword that you can win. It has looting 1, it's like sharpness 3, I think. And it's just that sword that you'd have in like the first hour, like literally for no reason whatsoever else except for the looting. It's a good sword. The skin is honestly incredible, but for it actually being what it is, this is definitely a first hour sword. It could possibly be trash, but just because of the skin being so cool, it's a little higher. Up next is the vanilla sword. So the vanilla sword is actually like complete garbage. With sharpness 5 and looting 3, that's what you get from a crate that cost $1 million to open, but you get something that's worth barely even 150,000. All the enchants on this sword you could get with like an enchant table. So for that reason, and also the skin dex is kind of simple, to be honest. It's like a white ice cream cone. It's a good idea. The idea just wasn't like put through enough. It needs a little bit more detail. So for that reason, it is going into trash. It's just not that good of a sword for how much it costs, and its look is just really simple and plain. So the strawberry sword is probably that sword that you'll get, and it's the equivalent to what I used last season. So the strawberry sword is like that sword. Most people, I always tell them to at least get the strawberry sword because it's good for grinding, but there's better options out there that with a couple hours of grinding you could get better. So we're gonna put that at mid-game sort of sword, just because it's like not a bad sword, but it's not actually like good enough for full-time players. And the skin's honestly kind of good, which probably is why it's in mid-game and not starter. Up next is my personal favorite. It is the Jack Frost sword. This was one of the best swords when it came out, because at the time this came out, the chocolate crate was not released. Everyone wanted this sword, and overall the look of it is really like clean overall, especially with enchants. It just gives it that glowing effect. But with it having looting 6 and sharpness 7, this is actually one of the worst swords you can use for grinding. Also, most of them are now netherite, so that makes it even worse. So for that reason, it is also going in mid-game, just because the skin dex sort of brings it up, but the value of it, like 20 million, is not worth it, and the enchants are like really bad. Chocolate sword, it could look a little better. Who am I kidding? It could look a little better. It's just, it's weird shape. They could have rounded off the edges a little bit better. Of course, this was like earlier in the season, but the sides is so like rigid. It needs more smooth like turnings, like the daily sword. So for that reason, it is also going down into mid game. And also another bad thing about it is that it's also looting 6 and sharpness 7. So mid game, just because the looting keeps it up there. And then the next thing that's released is the caramel sword. So the caramel sword, obviously I can't get, but it should be on the screen. Magical program, that's how I got it, guys. But the actual overall caramel sword is kind of overrated, to be honest. The skin look of it is really bad. Although the looting and sharpness are both level 8, you can get that really close with some other swords, because at one point or another, looting isn't as valuable as you'd think. For 150,000 coins, I feel like this is probably like maybe end game. Like I don't really know, because it's like it's so overpriced that it's just not worth it. But at the same time, it's like a good sword. But the skin, yeah, we're gonna call this end game, just because if you're getting it, you're probably in end game, because it's 150 million. and there's only like 3 in the game. So obviously, mint sword, no doubt about it, is definitely in god tier impossible. I can't get it in. I was also supposed to shift click these into the item frames, guys, but it's like kind of hard to jump around. So obviously it's in impossible. Mint sword is just that sword. There's maybe 2 in the game, I think, and it's just that sword that's impossible to get. It's so hard to actually get it, and it's looting 9, sharpness 9. So obviously it's the quote-unquote best sword in the game. For the cost of it, also, I wouldn't go for it, just because at one point or another it's not going to be worth how much it costs, unless you're only going for PvP. You're never going to make it back if you're going for looting. The Love is Great sword. So this was the first sword I was able to show in like a video or whatever, when I opened the the Valentine crate. For the fact that its looting isn't actually that good, to be honest. It is only looting 7 and sharpness 6. That is the equivalent of the Jack Frost sword and the chocolate sword, so it could technically be considered from its looting like good, but the skin is also very like jagged, but it is like an intricate look to it. So if this one's gonna be tricky. I think this is again going to be a mid game, also because the price is like 12 million for this sword that isn't even that good in the end. Or wait, the look is so nice though. I'm gonna change this to good. Never mind, this is going to good. There we go. Next wave of swords into my inventory. We're actually almost done, believe it or not. The rainbow sword that came from the St. Patrick's crate is again another one of those swords that's kind of overrated. The overall look of it is incredible, but it really needed to be smoothed out a little bit. As you can see, sort of like the lines where it cuts through. And it's also not even that good of a looting or sharpness. It's only looting 7, sharpness 6. So this is just going to be put straight into like mid-game sword, just because of or the mid-game rating, just because it's not that good of a looting and the overall look just wasn't there. So the Easter sword. The Easter sword is actually like an amazing looking sword. So many like features and intricate stuff put into it, but its special ability that spawns in killer rabbits, I don't believe actually works. So it's like a lot of these abilities are not a lot, actually, we haven't covered many. Jack Frost works, in case you guys didn't realize. I forgot to mention that you like shift click and it covers people in ice. But the Easter sword's ability just doesn't work. So the only thing it has going for it is the fact that it's a cool looking sword. And then it also has looting and sharpness 7, which isn't bad at all. Like, that's actually a really good look, and also for some reason not many people want this sword, so it goes for a little bit cheaper, but you also don't see as many like out there anymore. So this one's going to be going up into good because the look of it overall just looks really incredible. So the ocean staff, this shoots a nice little like spire. It unfortunately, its cooldown is like 30 seconds or something, which makes its ability kind of obsolete. But its sharpness and looting is actually pretty good, believe it or not. Its looting and sharpness is about like looting 7, sharpness 7, right? 7? No, yeah, sharpness 7. So it's not bad. Again, it's equivalent to the Easter sword, and its ability is a nice touch. So for that reason, the staff is going into good tier because its ability is just like a really cool ability, and the animation also of it twirling around is incredible. So the ocean sword can actually be kind of overpowered in PvP, as it allows you to swim really fast in water. So you could swim circles around all the people you're PvPing and just spam hitting them. They can't try shielding, and they can't really avoid it if they aren't able to move fast. This can also help with like getting away in fights. So for that reason, but the skin dex is kind of bad, or the look of it is like nice but also really simple. But they did involve like a cleaner shift between corners. So you can definitely see as we progress along through all the swords, it's a lot better like looking swords. And also, yeah, in item frames, this looks a lot better. Pufferfish mace. For some reason, people actually really hate this mace. I find the ability to be really cool, how it can poison like mobs and stuff. No, never mind. I'm not gonna get the ability probably. But it poisons things. So it's nighttime now, dang. So with the ability to poison things, it can be really cool in PvP, although in the new rainbow crate they did introduce like armor that poisons things, so this kind of comes obsolete. The animations on it though are really cool. I wish it could have just been a little bit more circular rather than like a square stuck in a pin. And also the looting again is okay, and it's like looting and sharpness level 7. But for the overall opinion of everyone, it is going to go into mid game just because it's also cheap, like 4 million. You could get that and you'd be set. Void Sword. So I don't know actually if the Void Sword's ability is working, but basically it will trap you inside like a dark void, like covering your eyes, which can be insanely overpowered for PvP, because you think about it, you hit someone, they can't see anymore, you run around them and hit them a bunch more, or you even trap them and end crystal them. That could be a very good strat for PvP, and it's just overall a good sword with looting 7 and sharpness 8. This is probably one of the best like PvP swords you'll probably find out there. So for that reason, I am going to call this an end game sword, just because of the fact that it's kind of like really good, and also the overall look of it is very clean, and the like fading of the colors, whoever designed this actually did like really good. So the VIP sword, everyone was looking forward to this, but unfortunately it's actually really bad. Only looting 7 and sharpness 6. It is one of the worst like looting and sharpness combinations out there for a sword. And for it's supposed to be one of these special like exclusive VIP items, its sharpness and looting isn't that good. Also, the overall look of it is very intricate, but they could have had a little bit more color on it. So for that reason, it's probably going to be going in like good, but just barely. Like it's good because of all the intricate looks of it. So yeah, Pride Staff again also has the shooting thing. This time it's rainbow particles compared to the oceans that was just blue. The look of it overall is very nice, to say the least. And then its sharpness is level 8 and its looting is level 7. This is by far one of the, if not the best swords that you can get out there for like its overall price. These are going for about 3 to 4 million, and they're basically the equivalent sharpness of a caramel sword, which is the second best sword in the game. Looting in the end doesn't really matter too much since it's only one less level. So for that reason, this is also going in endgame. I can't, oh, and its ability recharges, it seems a little bit better. But there we go, and there. I'm also going to use some of my swords to kill these mobs. One sec. There we go. He can burn and die now. Okay, so this is the rainbow sword. It gives regen when you're below 3 hearts, which can be really insane if you're about to die. But if you're that low by now, you're probably also dying. But the real benefit about it is its ability. So it gives you, it spawns in rainbow bees, which attack the other players. It's an angry bee that attacks. They can one-shot it, but if the bee gets a hit, then the person is poisoned, which basically makes this the equivalent of the Pufferfish mace, except the ability activates a lot more often. Its other ability is that it spawns in runes below you when you're like hitting people, but I have not heard word that that actually works, so that ability is kind of just pushed to the side. I wish it was a cool ability because it could be a money-making method, but it does not work. And then also the overall look of this sword is incredible. It has the fading rainbow up the staff and then, or up the sword part, and then it also has a handle that has a nice little glow to it. And then they also embedded some arrows around in the little hilt part, which makes it a really cool sword. It's overall very like thin, like looking, but its abilities and everything make this one of the best swords in the game. This very well could go at impossible or insane, but the price for it is kind of low. But the overall look of it, plus its abilities, make it the best sword to get in the game. And then of course we also have the Irish wand, which has a little bit of a shorter range. It's almost like a catapult. Oh yeah, 15 seconds. Wait a second. Okay, and we shoot the, oh wait, never mind. It has a 5-minute wait. It has a 5-minute waiting time. Okay, well, it sort of goes in an arc, which makes this ability not too good, to be honest. Although the sharpness is level 8, the unbreaking is level 9, and the looting is level 7. So that's not bad, but for the fact that its ability isn't that good, this is going to be going with the good tier just because the look is nice. The Loverfella heart looks incredible. It looks like a pixel art that I would actually want to use, and the animations are nice. It's just its ability isn't there compared to the other ones up on the top row, and it doesn't really make up for it in sharpness compared to those. Those are like combined with sharpness. But yeah, so this is the overall tier list. We really didn't have any starter swords. I guess you could put like starter as like a looting 3, which would be like that, and a sharpness 7, but then you just get it with an enchant table. So that's starters. I don't know. Really, what do you think is the best sword is your opinion? If you want to go off of overall stats, it's probably the mint. But if you want to go for price, it's probably Galaxy or the Rainbow Pride Sword. But then if you want to go off of like sharpness, then it's Caramel. But overall, if I had to pick a sword that I thought was the best, I would say that it's probably this Rainbow Sword. For its ability to be able to poison people with its spawning in, its sharpness level 8, and that it gives you regen when you're below 3 hearts, makes this an insanely good sword for PvP, and looting is not bad either for grinding. So if you were going to go for a sword, guys, I would suggest going for this Rainbow Pride Sword. Although swords may get better in the future, this right now is probably the best sword overall. But don't get me wrong, there's swords out here that are still as good. As if you don't want a PvP, then just go for one that has a looting 7, which would be the Rainbow Galaxy St. Patrick or the VIP sword. So you got like a bunch of options there, right? But if you want to actually go for overall, then I would say the Rainbow is the best for that. And then there's also, like, of course, the mint, which no one's going to get, to be honest. No one's going to be paying $500,000 to get that sword. Only the rich people who use it for, like, flex. And it's also netherite, so it's not even good for grinding sword level. It's literally just there for PvP. You can't use it for anything else. But, yeah. Let me know what you think, if I should have changed some of these ratings really around, because, again, they are sort of, like, personal, but also looking at a little bit of evidence. But if you guys think that they should be switched around, let me know in the comments, and maybe we'll just post a picture in a week or something, and it will be the, like, reset, like, reorganized based off of your guys' comments. But without further ado, I hope you guys did enjoy this little video. Of course, the best sword in the game is up to you in the end, but for me, I'm going to be probably using this sword for PvP during Purge. What was that? But yeah, without further ado, I hope you guys enjoyed this video. Consider leaving a like, subscribing, and like always, have a great day. Yay. Oh, I should have spawned in a bee for the last like 5 seconds, gotten a bunch of mobs.